Today, we have Professor Andy Bacevich, a colleague and a Professor Emeritus here at the Pardee School of Global Studies. And we're going to ask him what a post-corona world might mean for national security.
My speculation follows this thread. The United States has fancied itself the preeminent global power for many decades now. Particularly since the end of the Cold War, it has defined its strong suit in terms of hard power, military power. You know, we have far and away the largest military budget in the world. We have an empire of bases. We have demonstrated a penchant for armed intervention, as even President Trump says, engaged in endless wars. So this in a national security sense defines who we have been, who we are. And I think the tacit expectation is that this paradigm of national security will keep Americans safe and allow Americans to exercise freedom as we have come to define freedom. Well, here we are in 2020. And we are terrified. We do not feel safe. We feel in great danger. And we also find ourselves unable to exercise freedom as we understand it. Freedom of assembly is prohibited. Freedom of worship, you can worship, but only if you confine yourself to your home. Freedom has been substantially circumscribed. And I think that all of this together constitutes a judgment on our approach to national security. Now, by no means has that judgment sunk in with the American people, but my guess is that once we find our way through the coronavirus pandemic, there may be, and indeed there should be, a conversation about what should be the definition of national security in the 21st century, and what are the institutions or priorities that would provide Americans with the security that they expect. Should that conversation happen, and again, I'm not saying that it will, although I hope it will, should that conversation happen, then my guess is that the pre-existing paradigm, the one that emphasizes hard power, big budgets, bases around the world, armed intervention, that all that is going to become subject to rethinking. I think that there's a reasonable chance that what we have come to think of as national security policy is going to change radically in the months and years ahead.
What do you think this means for the future of the security state?
The national security state, this apparatus of institutions, certainly including the military, but also including the intelligence agencies, and more broadly, also including the various entities, mostly in and around Washington, that employ people to study security issues. All of that massive apparatus has outlived its usefulness. And the evidence that it's outlived its usefulness is its irrelevance to the present security crisis, which is the greatest that has occurred, I think, in our time. Now, if you are part of that system, your entire being is invested in preserving the status and prerogatives, the budget claims of the national security state. So there may well be a big fight ahead because power and privilege are at stake.
This realization that we across the world seem to be much better prepared to fight each other than to fight disease or a virus. Will this change behavior?
One argument is, well, is it now not obvious that we are all in the same boat, that we all share the same planet, that we all are threatened by things like the coronavirus, and therefore Now, shouldn't it follow that there are greater efforts to collaborate and focus on common threats? On the other hand, one of the things that we have been reminded of in this crisis is that interdependence has a downside. There was a time, back when I was a boy, when we made everything. I mean, anything we needed was made in the United States of America. Today, that's not the case. In that sense, the pandemic could create a renewed awareness of the advantages of self-sufficiency with regard to security. So I think that can go either way. We're just going to have to see.